The second part of Lesson 7.1 and 2 is about application. We're sticking with our exponential model, y equals a times b to the x power. When we apply this formula, the a value will represent the original amount of something. It could be population, it could be value, it just depends on the type of situation we're looking at. B is going to be considered the growth or decay factor. To calculate B, we start with 100% because 100% is the original percent worth of that original amount. And we'll either add or subtract if we have a percent increase or decrease to that value. And that will allow us to get the growth or decay factor. We're not factoring, but that gets us the factor. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. For the first example, in 1996, there were 2,573 computer viruses and other security incidents. Since then, the number of incidents have increased by about 92% each year. Write an exponential model for this information. If we're going to follow the template y equals a times b to the x, a would represent the original amount of the computer viruses and security incidents. So that's going to be our 2573. I'll just identify that there. To get our b value, it says that it's increasing, so b is going to represent a growth factor. To calculate b, remember we start with 100% no matter what. And we either add if it's an increase or we subtract if it's a decrease. Well, it's increasing, so we're going to add the percent increase of the change each year. 92%. 100% plus 92% is literally just 192%. In an equation, however, we don't use a percent value, we convert it to its decimal form. That means we have to move the decimal over 2 units to the left, and that would give us our our growth factor of 1.92. That's what b will equal. And that's honestly it, everybody. Once you know a and b, we create our model simply by plugging them in to that formula for exponential models. Your formula then will be y equals a, which is 2573. Well, I'm going to run out of room here. Hang on. I'll slide my screen over just a little bit to get that to fit. Times b, which I'm going to put in parentheses, 1.92 to the x power. This means for any given year, we could determine the new amount of viruses and security incidents. So down below, it says, what is the predicted number of incidents in the year 2010? Well, in the year 2010, x would equal, we have to figure that out. So in 2010, x would equal basically 2010 minus 1996. That's when we started counting the number of viruses. So that's going to be 14. That means it's 14 years later. If we plug that in for x, we're going to have y equals 2573 times 1.92 to the 14th power. You should be able to enter this all in at once using that arrow up key on your calculator or the y to the x key. So I'm going to throw that in over here. So you'll use either that key that has the little arrow up, or if you have a calculator that says y to the x, you want to throw that in there as well. Type in your base and then enter 14. We get quite a significant amount. Rounding rules for this, we would round this up to the nearest whole number since we're not going to have a portion of a computer virus. So if we type in 2573 times 1.92 raised to that 14th power, I got approximately 23,804,836 if we round to the nearest whole number. And I would label this incidents because that's going to take care of the viruses and other security incidents. So that's how we'll label our answer. Quite a change from when it first started. Here's another example of an exponential model. A new snowmobile costs $4,200. The value of the snowmobile decreases 10% each year. Part A, write an exponential model. So anytime we see that, our template is always going to be y equals a times b to the x power. In the given problem, it says a new snowmobile costs $4,200. That's going to be our original amount. To get the b value, remember we always start with that template of 100%. That's the original worth of the snowmobile. Since it's decreasing, we're going to subtract the value it decreases each year. 100% minus 10% is 90%. But then as we convert that to its decimal counterpart, I'm going to go 2 places to the left. That's going to make our decay factor 0.9. Once you know that value, we're ready to write our model. Y equals 4,200 times 0.9 to the x power. In any given year, we could find the value or worth of that snowmobile. How much will the snowmobile be worth in 7 years? This should be easy enough. Plug in x equals 7. That would give us y equals 4,200 times 0.9 to the 7th power. Ooh, that's not super great, everybody. The rounding rule for this, since we're looking at value, would be to the nearest penny or hundredth, which is 2 places past the decimal. I get 2008.85 if I round to the nearest hundredth, and the label would be dollars, so that dollar symbol is your label. After 7 years, that snowmobile dropped pretty significantly in value. A very common exponential formula is called compound interest. This formula takes the base, that b value, and kind of splits it up into this parenthesis. If we have a equals p times 1 plus r divided by n, all to the nt power. P is kind of like the original A. It's our original investment, however much money we want to put into a bank to earn interest. T will be time, and that's typically in years. R is our percentage rate, but we're going to change R to a decimal, just like we did our growth and decay factor. What makes this formula a little bit challenging is the N value. If you compound interest more than yearly, you can get more money on it. So N is going to stand for how many times interest is compounded in a given year. Here are some numbers to look for, or some words to look for. If it says compounded yearly, that means N would equal 1. And that'd be pretty easy to plug into the formula. If it says compounded semi-annually, that means twice a year, and you'd plug in N equals 2. Notice you're plugging it in the parenthesis and in the exponent. So these are things to think about. Another common way to compound interest is quarterly. And in a given year, quarterly means 4 times. You could even have monthly. That's kind of exciting. You earn money on your account every month, so that means N equals 12. Weekly, pretty good incentive to go there. N would equal 52. There are 52 weeks in a year. And then daily, probably not super likely you'd get money that compounded interest daily, but we'll default daily to 365. Those are pretty much the most common amounts of times you could have money compounded within a given year. So let's see what that looks like in an application problem. If you deposit $4,000 into an account that pays 4.5% interest, find out how much you would have after 8 years if the interest is compounded yearly, and then if the interest is compounded quarterly. So the things that we know that capital P is our original amount, and that's our $4,000. It says pays 4.5% interest. That's the R value. And if it's 4.5%, that means R is going to actually equal 0.045. We have to move it 2 places to the left. Now it says after 8 years, and time is always labeled in years, so that's the T value. The parts that'll change are the N value. N is either the compounding yearly or quarterly. So for example A, yearly means N equals 1. Grab a calculator for sure, you're going to need it. If we plug in what we know to our formula, A equals 4,000 times 1 plus our decimal version of R, 0.045 over 1 times 1, or to the 1 times 8 power. So this simplifies really nicely. The problem with getting compounded interest yearly is you only get interest once per year. So you don't really get as much, but the formula is easier to work with. So I guess that's the trade-off. 1 plus 0.045 over 1 is just 1.045. 1 times 8 is 8. Type that into your calculator, and you should get approximately 5,000 $688.40. That would be how much interest you would earn or you would have gained after 8 years. You go from $4,000 to $56.88. Now, if it's quarterly, that means n will equal 4. And quarterly is going to be a little bit trickier in that parentheses, so try to follow along. If we have A equals 4,000 again, still investing the same amount, 1 plus 0.045 over 4 to the 4 times 8 power. In the parentheses, we want to get a common denominator. So we still have 4,000 on the outside. A common denominator of 1 and 4 is just 4. I'm trying to keep everything exact until we're ready to enter it on our calculator. 4 times 8 for our exponent, that would be 32. All right, so I think we're almost ready. If we keep our 4,000 on the outside, 4 plus 0.045 would be 4.045 over 4 to the 32. So this is a little trickier to type in. See if you can do it. Type in 4,000 and then in a parenthesis, put 4.045 divided by 4 parenthesis, and then use the arrow up key and raise that to the 32nd power. And you'll notice what happens is we'll actually get a little bit more interest than we had for yearly. I get $5,721.81. Make sure you can get that, and if you do, that should be good. If you're not getting those answers, let me know, and let's look at how you're typing it into your calculator. This is the application portion of 7.1 and 2.